What's up, my YouTube family? Welcome back to the Gaming Brigade, and as we roll into the weekend, I wanted to share with you a build I've been using pretty much all day long. Now, it's some of the newest gear we've had introduced into the game, so I had to do some farming. But the good news is every piece of gear that you're going to see in this build is in the general loot pool. It is not locked behind any seasonal progress or anything like that, so I definitely recommend you try this build because it is a ton of fun to use. Now, if you happen to enjoy this video, do me a favor and hit that like button. It really does help the channel out. You can feel free to subscribe and join as well. And we do have giveaways here, but I'm going to save that information until the end. Now, you can see by the footage you're looking at, I'm on heroic difficulty at Lincoln Memorial, and this is really my go-to mission to try out new builds. And the reason for that is I know the timing of the NPC. I can really gauge what my time to kill is. And that way, in my opinion, it allows me to make a determination on any tweaks I may want to make to the build. Do I want more armor? Do I want more weapon damage? Whatever it is. And really quick, a huge shout out to Kamikaze Von Doom. I saw a version of this build on his channel and I had to try it out. Now we're going to jump right into the build. However, one thing I mention at the beginning of every build video I put together is I want to remind especially new and returning players that this is just a template. This is one of so many different ways you can run with a build like this. The most important thing is to take your time and truly make a build your own. So starting off with Specialization, we're using Technician for a few reasons really. First of all, you're going to get that extra skill tier, but the main reason for this build is that it gives you the ability to use the linked laser pointer, and when you use that, it's going to pulse every single enemy you target, which comes to play with our weapon talent and the talent on our chest. So for me, that's the main reason. And remember, regardless of which specialization you choose, you always want to make sure you have the proper weapons activated in your weapon skill tree. That way you get a 15% weapon damage bonus regardless of which one you have equipped. My primary weapon for this build is the Kingbreaker Assault Rifle. Now right now there's a bug in the game where it says rifle damage instead of assault rifle damage. It's something hopefully that will be cleared up soon. And if you don't have this weapon, you can just use like a Carbine 7 or a FAMAS with the talent flatline on it. It's the regular talent. This one has perfect flatline, which is going to amplify weapon damage to pulsed enemies by 20%. One thing you want to make sure you do is equip this weapon or any assault rifle that you have. You want to make sure you equip that linked laser pointer, because that's going to allow you, like I said before, to pulse every single enemy that you're targeting. You don't have to worry about the kills or anything like that. Moving on to the secondary, I'm using one of my favorite vectors in the game, and since this SMG is a long-barreled version, it's going to allow me to also equip that linked laser pointer. I'm using the talent flatline, which is going to amplify weapon damage by 15% to pulsed enemies. As far as my mods go for this weapon, you can see I'm getting that extra 5% crit hit chance with the optics rail. I've got 20 extra rounds with the magazine. I'm using the linked laser pointer, and for the suppressor, it also gives me extra 5% crit hit chance. And getting back to the Kingbreaker, we have the 5% crit hit chance on the optics rail, just like the SMG. We also have the magazine, same thing, 20 rounds. We have the linked laser pointer, and on the muzzle, we have an extra 5% crit hit chance as well. Moving on to the gear itself, you can see I'm using 3 of the new BRAZOS brand set, 1 Grupo, 1 Overlord, and the Memento backpack. Starting off with the mask, it's the first piece of BRAZOS, and we're using all 3 so we get all of the gear set bonuses. Now I know in the future they plan to switch where the magazine size is. I believe that's going to be the second attribute, and to be honest with you, I would love to see skill haste at the very bottom. So in my mind it would be skill tier, magazine size, then skill haste, or possibly have that replaced with something else. I'm not sure how many of you out there really use skill haste that often, so let me know in the comment section down below. Now pretty much on all of these pieces, I'm trying to stack crit hit chance and crit hit damage. Moving on to the body armor, it's the 1 piece of Grupo that gives us that 15% critical hit damage bonus. And once again, stacking crit hit chance, crit hit damage. The weapon handling I don't really need, but this is the best piece I have, and I rolled the talent spotter onto it. And that talent is going to amplify total weapon and skill damage by 15% to pulsed enemies. And remember, because you're using the linked laser pointer, every single enemy you target is pulsed, so that thing is running non-stop. Now you do have the option of using the closer, which has the talent perfect spotter. So again, make sure you try out both variations, see which one works best for you. Now moving on to the holster, this is the PICARO'S holster. Now with the holster, they're making another change to it with 16.1. And what they're doing is this, they're actually pulling that core attribute of 20% weapon damage and they're turning that into a blue attribute. So no matter what, the core on this item is going to be armor. However, they are then going to make one of the minor attributes 15% weapon damage and then a random one underneath that. So we will have to do a lot of farming to get the one we want. want, because chances are it will drop one of multiple ways, and that way you can reroll the core attribute to anything you want. So for instance, those of you that may want a more aggressive holster, you're going to hope that that second random attribute is crit hit chance or crit hit damage. That way you can reroll the core attribute to 15% weapon damage, so no matter what, this holster is going to have a 30% weapon damage bonus when you equip it. Moving on to the knee pads, we're using Fox's Prayer because that gives us an 8% damage to targets out of cover bonus. They are still by far some of the best knee pads in the game. If you do not have these, you need to be farming for them. Again, all of this stuff is in the general loot pool. Moving on to the gloves. They are the third and final piece of the BRAZOS gear set, and we have that equipped for that extra 20% magazine size. That means with the Kingbreaker, we have 60 rounds in the clip. It is absolutely awesome. Now for this piece, it's really not maximized to, what I'd want. Meaning I'd much rather have that second attribute be crit hit chance, so that way I can max it out, max out the armor as well. But again, I just farmed a little bit this morning, just played some rounds of Countdown, picked up all this loot. So again, over time, I know I can find the piece that I'm actually looking for. And we make our way to the bag. Should be no surprise, Memento backpack. And I said this in yesterday's video. If you happen to play on Xbox and you do not have this bag as yet, leave your gamer tag in the description down below. I'm putting together a list and hopefully I can help you get the thing. As far as my skills are concerned, I'm using my two favorite. I'm using the Crusader shield in case things get sideways, and plus with this specialization, even though it says we're at skill tier 3, our shield is at skill tier 6, which really helps with survivability. And with the drone, remember, because we have the talent spotter on the chest, it's going to give us that extra 15% skill and weapon damage, so it really does help out. Finally, my friends, we have the stats. Now I'm sitting at 48.8% crit hit chance. Remember, the max is 60, and I also have 120% crit hit damage, and I think 75% headshot damage as well. And remember, those numbers can definitely be improved. This is the best gear I have at this point, so I'm going to continue to farm, max out the gear, and hopefully get that to an even higher number. Most of you know by now that one of my favorite aspects about putting these build videos together is the family that we have at the channel. So as always, if you have any questions, comments, or feedback, or if you have any tips you want to pass along to new and returning players, please let me know, as the main goal is to try to help out as many people as we can. Now, as I start to wrap this video up, one of the things I really like about this build is that you seem really powerful and you have a lot of survivability. I mean, one of the favorite that, watch this move right here. Look at that. You can't get me. Rocket launcher, that doesn't phase me. But I think one of the things, I mean, most of you know if you've been at this channel for a minute, I love running Hunter's Fury. Like, it's my go-to, it's my go-to gear set. But with this, it really seems like it's a lot of fun. You can put so many different things, based around this gear, and I sincerely hope you like it. As always, I want to take a moment and thank you all for your incredible support of this channel. Now, I'm doing something different now. I'm talking about the giveaways at the end, and as most of you know, we are currently having a giveaway for a PlayStation 5. To enter, all you need to do is subscribe here or follow on Twitter, and the winner will be announced on October 2nd of this year. On that note, I'm going to let the rest of the video play out. Like I said before, do me a favor, if you did enjoy this, please take a second, hit that like button. It really does help the channel out. Feel free to hit that subscribe or join button as well, but most importantly, take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks again, everyone.
That should keep them from being able to transport those mortars. Go on and head back up. The team from the campus has taken position inside the memorial. If you hadn't stopped them, I know they would have used those weapons on us, and we would have ended up like Castle. I can't tell you how relieved I am to have you on our side. Thank you. Today, we dealt a great blow to the True Sun's infrastructure. We confiscated a massive cache of chemical weapons and